A trip to see John Mills in Newcastle. John's Doubleboost YouTube channel is very popular and I'm always impressed by his workmanship. The reason for the trip to Newcastle was not just to see John, it was to buy some model aeroplane engines from him. The weather was atrocious all day, it just rained and rained. But eventually I did arrive at his place and here I'm in his workshop. And I couldn't help but notice the large Doubleboost poster on the wall. I have a large main steam poster on the wall just to remind me where I am. The first thing I saw when I went into the workshop were these two beautiful old engines. Although the one in the foreground is not really classified as an old engine because it's one that John built from scratch recently. John's about to hook his compressor up to run these on compressed air, so you'll see them in a moment. But before that, a bit of live audio from the camera. You hear my voice first, followed by John's. And yes, we can understand each other. So it's almost like the one that you'd find in the middle of a small roundabout.
That's the sort of thing, but they used them, they were on a church organ that would run a compressor. That's the sort of thing it was used for.
I'm not going to talk over this bit, just listen to the beats of this engine. First of all, at normal speed. It runs beautifully. Here it is at half speed. And here it is at a quarter speed. And now listen to the other one. Listen to this one in slow motion. What a lovely, wheezy, steamy sound. As you heard John and I discussing earlier, this has really come from some sort of a fairground piece of apparatus. John said it used to drive a compressor, which in turn provided wind for an organ. This has been very well restored and it's incredibly smooth. A credit to John's engineering skills. Time for a bit more live audio.
For next month, you're doing that for next month, huh?
Do you? Well, it's just Keith
Appleton.
Appleton.
I give you imagine I've sent you a package with some bits of metal in it you may find useful.
That was a bit of general chit-chat between a Yorkshireman and a man from Newcastle. There is a difference. This is a Stuart steam engine that John bought recently and it was in a right state. It's worth looking at his Doubleboost channel to see how bad it was. I couldn't believe it. I thought he was going to throw it in the bin. This is the mechanical lubricator for the engine. Look at the state of the ratchet pawl. Water had been left in the crankcase of this engine to approximately halfway up. I'll let John explain. I will loosely translate after John describes the problem. I've never seen anything as bad as that.
You can see in there, that was a water level.
Hang on.
When I warmed it up, all that was, I shoveled the shite out of there, it was solid shite, up to that level.
The term solid shite generally is a descriptive term for all sorts of things. It covers a multitude of things that are basically shite, including the immense amount of rust that was in this crankcase. This, of course, is the crankshaft and the eccentric strap. John must have done a lot of work at this to get it back into this condition. Luckily, the main bearings are in surprisingly good condition. I look forward to seeing the finished engine running, which I'm sure it will be soon. Above the bench where this engine is currently sat are a load of boxes, but they're much bigger boxes than mine, because John works on full-size things more than I do. And once again, just like me, he has another plaque on the wall which reminds him where he is. I have to say at this point, John's workshop is far tidier than mine. Here's his milling machine. John was saying that unfortunately he just doesn't have the room for a Bridgeport. I would dearly love one. My excuse is not room, I just don't think I'm a good enough engineer to use such a machine. Plus, I do like to work on machinery that beginners can relate to. Like this one, it's nothing special, it's just a good quality milling machine and does the job. It's really all down to the operator. And here is the lathe. It's a Harrison 140. A friend of mine had one of these many years ago. And the one that my friend had was not very accurate, but he was such a good engineer he just used to compensate for it, and the things he made on this lathe you would not believe. And as I've just said, it's the person operating the machine that makes the part. Unless of course it's CNC controlled, like this thing in another shed that John has. This is a great gadget, a computer controlled plasma cutter, and it's currently set up for making large copper washers. When I want a copper washer, I ring Blackgate's engineering up and they put a packet in the post. Generally speaking, the largest copper washer that I would use would be 1/2 inch internal diameter. John was telling me that this was set up to make copper washers for a full-size traction engine. This is a great piece of kit, and look what powers it. My MIG welding is definitely getting better than it was, but for small model use I really think a TIG welder would be a good idea. I will think about that. John makes some very interesting things by using this plasma cutter to cut shapes out of steel. This is what was left when he cut out 2 Lancaster bomber shapes. He said he wasn't happy with the propellers, but I like what's left. That's a piece of art in itself. I was very impressed with John's camera setup. When John films welding, he films through a filter, one of the electronic type. It's fitted to a stand and the camera sits behind it. This is my camera filming without a filter, and as you can see there are quite a lot of bars and distortion. And that's about it for my visit to see John at Doubleboost. But good things all too frequently come to an end very quickly, so I picked up the engines, put them in my car and set off home. Once again, why not treat yourself to a look at John's channel, youtube.com/Doubleboost. Little did I know at this point when I was leaving that I would get stuck in traffic on the A1 motorway for about an hour. Oh yes, and it was still raining. I've cheated a bit though on the video. As well as the video running in reverse, I've added some digital water, just for the effect, but it really was a very wet day, albeit an enjoyable one. And that's it. Please stay healthy, thanks for watching, and I hope you found this video interesting. Please take the time to visit my Mainsteam Models website and click on the section of the website that says Video Playlists. And by doing that, you can find other videos that you may like to watch. And by using the playlists, you can actually watch the videos back to back.